Alright, hello friends, and welcome back to a little bit more of the Dreambound demo. Last time we played through the prologue of the demo, and then it started putting us into chapter 1. I have no idea how long this demo is, but it seemed like a good time to stop once we started chapter 1, so I'm just going to hop right back into it. We're going to play through chapter 1, see how far this demo goes, and what else is going on in this story. It's definitely really interesting. Having a good time with it. Let's just hop in from here. Alone. It was an inescapable fact. He was unlovable, detestable, undesirable. Nothing he did could help him to escape that. No matter where he went, those eyes, filled with hate, would follow him. Their gazes would burn him alive where he stood. Their words would pierce him like blades, stabbing down to his very core. His essence would darken and crumble away into nothingness. You deserved it, they would say. You listened to us, this wouldn't have happened, they would scream. Why couldn't you be normal, a cry would sound. Even here, far beyond where those words could find him, he would still feel them. In his chest, in his mind, in his heart. You will always be alone. Always. No one else could love you. No one else could put up with you. So just curl up into a ball and die already. Die. Just die. Noah slowly opened his eyes. He still sat in front of his easel. On it, a new canvas, still blank. His eyes darted back towards the painting that had appeared the night before. A nightmare. Disgusting, warped, a reflection of a father who could never love his son. That's what I said, but I understand that I read it wrong. It was beautiful. It was everything he'd ever wished for. He stood from his place, stretching out his sore shoulders. His bones creaked and ached from years of being bent over his work. Absent-mindedly, he picked up the remote and turned on the TV. Background noise. White noise to fill the void where he had been left empty. But for some reason, he found his eyes trained on the screen. We now have permission to share imagery of the strange markings that have been appearing on the bodies of the deceased. On the screen, a man laid with his eyes closed, never to reopen. Vines wrapped around his arms, trailing up to his throat, and finally growing onto his face. They centered on a flower in the middle of the man's forehead. Beauty and death. This man was found in his home late last night. Previously, his wife was found in the same condition. Police are still investigating whether foul play was involved. The camera zoomed out to show the rest of the man's face. Noah froze. His eyes traveled to his painting, then back to the screen. It was his father. There's no doubt about it. Without a second thought, Noah jumped to his feet and approached the TV. He held onto it tight, searching for some kind of answer. Was he sad his father was gone? No. But what I saw last night... So far, the police have not shared any leads. We'll keep you updated as the case unfolds. Is it possible? Did he die because of what happened yesterday? But that wasn't really him. Just a shadow in a dream. These words swirled around in his head, threatening to consume him. Questions surfaced one after another, but he couldn't think of a single answer. He felt as if he was going crazy. He needed to talk to someone. Anyone. But who would understand? Who would care? He had nobody, after all. Kane. Noah grimaced at the thought. All he did to push him away, all he did to make him leave. Now he needed him. What did I do with my phone? He searched high and low before remembering he'd put it in the bin. With a sigh, he reached in and managed to find it. He switched it on. 11 missed calls from his father. He deleted the records and instead tried to call Kane. Your service has been disconnected. Please visit us at... Fuck. Noah hung up quickly before slamming his phone down. Bills. It's always bills. The money he'd saved was reaching its end. Fuck, Kane, why aren't you here when I need you? He's probably at work. Of course he is. Noah's eyes glanced toward his front door. For a moment, he wondered. Wondered what life would be like if he had a job, a family that cared, colleagues, friends, a life, perhaps a lover, a pet. Before he realized it, his hand was on the doorknob. His palms were sweaty and his breath shaky. I'm not scared. It's not scary, I just hate it. At first, he wasn't scared. He withdrew because he hated it. Hated other people. Hated their fake happiness. Hated that they had futures that were taken from him. He knew they were all liars, cheats, backstabbers. But now it had been too long. How many years since he last walked in the sunlight? Too many. Still, he turned that doorknob and stepped out into the bright light. I'm proud of him. A mirage of happiness spread before Noah. Sunlight fell on his face. In the distance, a dark storm cloud rolled out. He raised a hand to cover his eyes, unused to the light. He thought it would feel good, sun on his face after so long. But it didn't. It felt wasted on him. His eyes glued to the ground, Noah walked down the sidewalk, careful not to meet anyone's gaze. He wandered and wandered, every step further from his home, his comfort, making his heart beat even faster. I think I know where Kane works. I should know the way. His uneasy steps continued. A group of teenagers came barreling down the path. He held his breath as they went past, waiting for them to say something to him. Only when they had long passed could he breathe again. He walked, and then walked some more, and then just for good measure, he walked further. At this point, he was sure he'd been walking in circles. Every street, every shop, every house looked like the last. He thought he knew where Kane worked, but he didn't. As it turned out, he knew very little about Kane anymore. Overwhelmed with the sights and sounds, he crouched down to the ground, covering his face with his arms. At that exact moment, the heavens opened. Noah was torn between staying where he was and running to find cover, but in the end his legs wouldn't move. Couldn't. They made the decision for him. I'm so stupid. Why did I leave? If I just waited, he would have come over eventually. It's all just a stupid coincidence. My parents' death, the markings on my dad's forehead. It means nothing. Kane would just laugh at me if he could see me now. A group of businessmen walked by him, chatting and laughing. Noah couldn't help but look away, embarrassed by himself. Look at him. Do you think he's homeless? That or a druggie. Better stay away. They laughed at him. He thought he was used to those words. They still hurt. Noah looked up just in time to lock eyes with the one person he was hoping to see. You guys go on ahead. Kane's gonna go buy some drugs. Luck, man. Kane ignored the others and jogged over to where Noah was still crouched on the pavement. He quickly tipped his umbrella to cover Noah. Noah, what are you doing out here? Wrong. Kane, I was looking for you. You should have called. It's just lucky I happened to be walking past. My phone's dead. Pay the bill. Right. Sorry, I should have guessed. My parents are dead. What? Kane's face said all the words he couldn't think to say. Noah, I'm so sorry. I know you didn't have the best relationship, but how do you feel about them being dead? Nothing. Even if you hate them, I'm sure you're not feeling nothing right now. I can't even say I hate them. It's been too long. It's just burnt out. I don't have the energy to hate them anymore. Noah. With a frown, Kane helped Noah to his feet, brushing off his clothes. Let me walk you home. We can talk on the way, okay? Noah nodded, unsure of where to start. It's not just about them being dead, it's how they died. This might sound crazy, but the world collapsed around them. And as they disappeared, someone else stepped into the place they'd just been. Okay. Well. Alright. Falling. A familiar feeling that could be felt in the pit of Noah's stomach. That feeling he hated. Just when he thought he'd be stuck in that limbo forever, he suddenly stopped. Fields rolled on for miles and miles. A landscape that, while entirely natural, looked anything but. Noah stood up from the grass. Beside him, Kane did the same. What the? Where are we? Kane's eyes were wide as he searched around the landscape for anything he could recognize. Of course, he couldn't find anything, because this wasn't a place he'd ever been before. It was far removed from the reality Kane knew. This is... Before Noah could explain, his arms were suddenly ripped from his side and shoved roughly behind his back. 2 clicks sounded, and they were locked behind him. Trespassers this far into the kingdom? What? We best throw them straight into jail. If the king finds out, he'll be furious. Jail? King? I think you misunderstand. We're just... Silence. A guard pushed him forward, causing Kane to stumble. Noah noticed his arms were also handcuffed behind his back. We're not from here. This is a mistake. Shut up, vermin. Noah started explaining. We're inside someone's dream. Have you eaten something funny? Look, I know I sound insane, but just look around you. Do you really think I'm lying? Do you think I have the energy to lie to you right now? You brought us here? No, I didn't, and that's what I'm so confused about. I don't want to be here. I wouldn't choose to come here. But lately I've been dragged into dreams repeatedly, without choice. It never used to happen like this. Kane's face had long since drained of color. The guards continued to march forward, pushing them towards the castle. They ignored the words of the men dressed in strange clothes, deciding they were obviously crazy. Then, by it never used to happen like this, you mean... Ever since we were in high school, I've been able to do it. To enter dreams. How? Why? I don't know. I have no clue. Why didn't you just tell me? Why do I have to tell you everything? Kane looked away, hurt by his words. How do we leave? You can leave once the dreamer is happy for you to leave. Then what do we do? What happens if they're not happy? They wake up and we... I don't know. Die, I guess. Which wouldn't be the worst thing to happen. Noah, I am not going to die in a place like this. Then we better work out whose dream this is. Well, maybe I could if my arms weren't handcuffed. Hey, let us go. They marched Kane and Noah into the castle as the two struggled against their captors. This game took a fucking turn, and I adore it now. The corridor is twisted and corned. What are those words? Filled with darkness and stale air. Their footsteps echoed through the empty space as they walked between sets of bars. Noah glanced from cell to cell. In some, people moved, skulking about in the shadows, tracking their movements. In others, Noah would have been surprised if the inmates weren't already long dead. Skin hung from their bodies, much too scrawny to support their lives any longer. They laid in their cells, unmoving. Noah, this doesn't feel like a dream. This feels real. Because we're actually here. Our bodies aren't in the real world anymore. The guards finally stopped their march, pulling on Kane and Noah's handcuffs. The metal bit into their wrists, leaving deep red marks that ached. Go ahead and rot in there. The handcuffs fell from their wrists with a click. Their backs were shoved hard with a blunt object. The hilt of a sword, Noah guessed. They stumbled forward, landing in a cell. The bars were swiftly slammed behind them, and the door locked with a key. Hey, don't we get a trial or something? Don't ignore me. Hey, come back here. Crap. Behind them, they hung the keys from a hook just out of reach of the cell, as if to tease them with freedom. Shit. Noah, this isn't good. You don't say. Noah cast his eyes around the cell until they came into contact with something. No, not something. Someone. A man sat leaning against the stone wall, chains keeping him from moving. Every cell in Noah's body froze. Not him. Why does it have to be him? Kane's eyes followed Noah's before they settled on the man. Is that Mr. Floyd? Sure looks like it. So is it his dream? Probably. Do you want me to... I'll handle it. Wait, before either of us do any handling, can we talk for a minute? Sure, because we have the time to spare. Just a minute, please. Noah crossed his arms, waiting for the questions to start. Why were we pulled in here out of nowhere? I have no clue. Like I said, it's never happened like this before. Every other time it was by choice. Which makes yesterday even stranger. Or about yesterday. Noah weighed it up in his mind, wondering whether he should tell Kane or not. Eventually, he decided to tell him the truth. I stopped coming into dreams years ago. Then, yesterday, just like this, I was pulled into one. It was my father's dream, I think. And I saw him get shot. And this morning, he turned up dead. What? His eyes went wide. Are they connected? I don't know. Maybe. Those markings that have been appearing while dying in dreams. That's what I came to talk to you about. Anyway, let's just work on getting out of here, okay? Kane nodded in response. Noah slowly approached the man, one step at a time. Eventually, he looked up from the ground and stared hard at Noah. Noah? Noah flinched. Of all the people, he wished he'd see this man the least. Mr. Floyd, we need to get you out of here. Out? No. Can't leave. Won't leave. Too scared. There's nothing to be scared about. This is a dream. You have the ability to alter it as you will. Come on, let's go. No, I can't. Fine. What are you scared of? The shadowy figure. He has a gun. Alarm bells rung in Noah's mind. He looked back towards Kane, who was already frowning. No one's going to hurt you. He shook as if he was going to burst into tears at any moment. Noah sighed. It's like I'll have to do this the hard way. Let me help you. You'll help me? After everything? Yes. Just stay there while I work out how to get you unbolted, and we'll leave together. Wait. Noah, I want to apologize. Noah turned his back, uninterested in where the conversation was going. What did Mr. Floyd do? I don't have any use for your apologies. If it were up to me, I would leave you here to rot. But Kane doesn't deserve to share that fate. Get him unbolted and get the door unlocked. This should be interesting. I have questions. What do? We get him out of here, then we'll be able to leave. You make that sound way too easy. Oh, it won't be. We're in a hurry, too, if he wakes up. Right, let's look around. I thought so. Are you really gonna make me? They really are gonna make me. So I was seeing, and I do remember it now that I'm doing this, that no, it's full on like a point and click escape room kind of game too, which I love. I used to do those all the time. Okay. What all can I click on? The bed, the dubious bucket, box with buttons. Okay. This is still just all the bed. Bedside table, ball and chains, and then some weird numbers. I want to look at the numbers first. Noah knelt down to the ground by the wall, peering at something that had been scratched into the stone. There's something here. Let me take a look. Kneeling down by Noah's side, he glanced at the numbers marked on the wall. What exactly is that supposed to mean? Good question. Let's keep this in mind. Okay. I really hope it's not timed. Standing proudly next to the worn-down bed was a wooden bedside table. On top, a small candle bolted to the surface. Noah approached it carefully before reaching down to touch the surface. Clean. What's in the drawer? Let's find out, shall we? Grabbing onto the handle, Noah pulled gently, but it refused to budge. I think it's locked. What kind of person lets their prisoners have a locked drawer? This one, apparently. Suppose anything's fair game in a dream. Let's find something to unlock it. Noah turned the chained up man's... Nope, I can't read. Noah turned too. The chained up man still stuck to the wall, but he refused to look back at him. Hey, what's in here? Just leave him. He obviously doesn't want to talk to us. Okay, so I need some sort of key to get in there. Let's put the box with buttons. What's this? It's not on the front. Noah turned the hexagon-shaped knobs, but nothing seemed to happen. Looks like it's missing a button. Probably no point messing with this until we can fix it. Okay. Oh, I can look at the bars, too? Bad, I guess. With an unsteady heart, Noah looked towards the large bed that sat in the center of the room. Pretty much what I expected a medieval prison bed to look like. Guess I'll check, just in case. I'm not too excited about digging through someone's used bedding, though. Want me to do it? Noah blinked in surprise for a moment before nodding. It was Kane he was with, after all. He'd always been the kind of person who would happily take the job no one else wanted to. Doesn't seem to be much here. In the pillow? He felt through the pillowcases, his eyes going wide. He's thinking. He pulled out something small and metallic. A screwdriver. How did he get this in here anyway? Probably watched one too many TV shows and thinks everyone has a screwdriver hidden in their cell. Well, that works for me. Hopefully he dreamt up somewhere we can use this thing, too. Kane quickly handed the screwdriver over to Noah, his hand lingering on the other man's for just a moment before he pulled back. Well, I have a screwdriver now. I haven't really seen anything to use the screwdriver for. Unless, like, to pry things open, but... there really is no way to get around looking at it, is there? Ugh. Holding his nose, Noah peered over the edge of the bucket. A murky liquid sat still inside. There is absolutely no way I'm putting my hand in there. Well, I dibs not. How old are you? Last time I checked, 24. Ha. Me being hilarious aside, do you really think there would be something hidden in there? Wouldn't put it past them. Why don't we leave this as a last resort? Yeah, probably a good idea. Unless you'd rather stick your hand in there? No, let's just leave this for now. Okay. Bars. Outside the bars, various voices could be heard. Some were barely more than whispers, fleeting words never to be discovered. Others were screams and shouts, the sounds of those never to be released, begging for freedom. Even if these people aren't real, this isn't right. Unless you feel like staying here with them, we need to get out of here. It's all well and good to say, but there's a thick set of bars stopping us from leaving. Oi, be quiet over there. The guard walked past, bashing the hilt of his sword against the metal bars. Knowing, Kane jumped back in surprise. Seeing someone with a sword wasn't on my bingo card for the day. Just outside the bars, the keys hung on a hook by a rope, out of reach. The rope trailed down to the group, begging to be pulled on. The keys are hanging right there. If we could just reach them from this far away, maybe there's something in here that we could use to grab it. I suppose it'll be more difficult than that, though. Hey, what's that? Kane pointed towards the ground outside the bars where a piece of paper sat. That wasn't there before. Quick, grab it. Sure. Looking back and forth quickly for any more guards, Noah peered at the paper that had been dropped outside the cell. Stretching his arm between the metal bars, Noah reached out far enough to touch it with his fingertips. Kane watched over his shoulder, inspecting the newly acquired item. It's math homework. A schedule? Looks like it. 7 till 1, that makes more sense than 7 minus 1. Okay. 4 till 8, 2 till 6, 1 till 7. But who knows what time it is now, anyway. Oh, I see. Okay, I couldn't read the names at first, and I just kind of didn't look, but a schedule of guards, maybe? Maybe it means something. Let's just hope the guards won't be breathing down our necks while we're trying to, escape. Beyond the barrier keeping the three inside the cell from freedom, a hollow noise sounded, metallic in nature. A shiver ran down Noah's back as it echoed through the prison, source unknown. Yeah. For now, let's just take another look around. Okay, I assume that this is just going to be to talk to Mr. Floyd. 2 metal balls hung from the ceiling motionlessly, without even a breeze to see them sway. In a far-off cell, someone dragged their life-deprived body over the hard stone ground, slowed by the ball and chains strapped to their ankles. They collapsed, the last light in their eyes finally disappearing. Alright. Just watch that person die. Maybe this is where I belong. Okay. What does this do, by the way? Oh, our inventory. We have a schedule and a screwdriver. So can I, click on this and... Oh! Can I use this on the bedside table? I wonder if I could just force the drawer open. Here, let me have a try. Kane quickly took the screwdriver and went to work, but no matter how much he tried, it refused to budge. Jeez, what's this drawer made out of? I suppose he dreamed of a specific way to open it. Nothing else will work. Let's keep looking. Okay. Screwdriver on the box with buttons? Rotating the box, Noah carefully checked for anything suspicious. Nothing. He could at least imagine these puzzles a little bit more easily cheated. Wouldn't that be nice? Clear selection. The only other thing that's in this room is the dubious bucket. You want to look at it again? Why did he have to dream about it down to a detail like this? A sniffle came from behind, and Noah tried his best to ignore it. Okay. It's not like I can turn anywhere else, so... I really have no idea. These... numbers might go with this? What now? Nothing, it's just a hunch, but I feel like these numbers are related to the ones on the schedule. You think? How? I haven't worked out that part yet. Okay. Glad we could just do that. You want to look at the bedside table again? I honestly have no idea. The clinking of metal on metal continued in the background, ever present. Somewhere in the prison, a whip dug into the flesh of an inmate. Their scream was inaudible. Screwdriver the bed. I doubt he would have hidden anything within the bed frame. Probably not worth taking apart. Well, if we get stuck, we could always try it. Let's keep it as a last resort. I really don't want to touch that thing. That was my last resort. I don't know. Oh, I can look at the buttons now. I like that there's a hint. I don't want to use it. And I assume that there's something missing here. Screwdriver the bucket. With his screwdriver in one hand and his will to live very quickly diminishing, Noah turned towards the bucket. I guess there's no choice. The plan here. Unscrew it? Let the contents spill all over the floor? No. Just gonna check if there's actually anything. Oh, okay. I was just... Screwdriver bucket. I don't know. The screwdriver dipped into the murky liquid, deeper and deeper, until it hit something with a soft twang. There's something in here. Oh? But I'm still not sticking my bare hand to that thing. I don't know what's in there. I think I could take a guess. Please don't. Okay, we'll use the screwdriver to try to fish it out. That's the same. Use this, pour it out into here, but I can't click on this, so... Paper. Book. Yes. Sitting down the guard's schedule on the bedside table, Noah glanced around the room. This dream really does suck. All the ones to be forced into. Thought you said they were all bad. They are, but this one is particularly bad. What do you want from me? Oh my god. I have been sitting here for a long time trying to figure this out, doing everything that I can, whatever. There's a walkthrough, a guide on how to get through this puzzle, and I downloaded it, I'm reading it. It's literally step 2. Click the loose brick between the ball and the chains, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I look over there, and sure enough, loose brick. Are you kidding me? The room was cold, chilling the inhabitants down to their bones. The cool stone of the walls reminded them that they weren't welcome. Noah reached up and ran his fingers over them. Freezing to the touch, the moisture clung to his skin. It feels just as lifelike as I remember. You said you used to do this a lot, didn't you? Are they always like this? Like what? So hostile. I thought I saw the people around me at their worsts. I thought I knew to some extent how unwanted I was. As it turned out, that was only a fraction of how they really felt. The truths people keep to themselves, the secrets they hold, the way people truly think about you. You'll all find them here. So, yes, they're all like this in a way. Noah, not everyone is like that. Yeah, except everyone that's left is like that. The stone shifted beneath Noah's palm as he ran his hand across the dark gray wall. The stone is loose. Can you pull it out? No, it's still too heavy. There must be something around we could use to break it. Let's keep looking. Alright, and Noah, I would never do anything to hurt you. You know that. Yeah, maybe. Okay, now that we know this, can we use this to, like, smack into the wall or something? So that's how it is. Or what is? The ball and chains hanging from the ceiling. They line up perfectly with that loose brick. Nice job. I hadn't noticed. Let's give it a go. With some effort, Noah pulled the heavy ball back as far as he could and let it go. It sailed through the air before crashing into the brick, smashing it to pieces. Good job. Thanks. Initially excited, Noah frowned to himself before he composed his face. I mean, it's no big deal. We just gotta get out of here. You still did a good job. There's nothing wrong with being happy about that. This isn't the place to be happy. There's nothing wrong with happiness. Get out. Okay. Behind the crumbled remains of the loose brick was a thick metal grate held on tight by 4 screws. Can you see what's behind it? Noah peered in with no luck. No, I'll have to get this grate off. I can do that. With precision, Noah raised the screwdriver to the 4 screws in the corners of the grates, quickly removing it from the wall. I knew that screwdriver would come in useful eventually. What's behind the grate? A box. Noah and Kane approached the hole in the wall to find a small, square box. Tentatively, Noah reached out and picked it up. He turned it around in his grasp. There didn't seem to be anything noteworthy on its surface except for 4 unmarked buttons on the front. What's this supposed to be? Question. He pressed a few of the buttons, but nothing eventful happened. Do you think we have to press them in the right order? Probably. Nothing's easy. How are we meant to guess? It could be anything. There should be a clue somewhere in the room. That's how dreams usually work. Hopefully. He nodded in response, his eyes caught on the small box. Or we could try to smash it. And if it has something breakable in it? Right. Well, I'm sure we have half a brain between us. We can work it out. Speak for yourself. Okay, I assume that's something to do with this and the schedule? Yeah, it's just, okay. Strange box in the schedule? Noah stared hard at the numbers that graced the guard's schedule, his eyes almost boring holes into the sheet of old parchment. This must be connected. Okay, maybe not. So the schedule is 7 minus 1, 4... I wish I could read it. Minus 8, 2 minus 6, 7 to 1. What if we just look at this? It's just looking at that. Okay. Oh, you know what? What if it's like... Hold on. I didn't actually memorize it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2... Was it 3, 4? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Are you okay? I'm fine, it shocked me a little. Was that not right? Let me take over. It's fine, I've got this. No, the fuck I don't. What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's what I did. Seven to 1, 4 to 8, 2 to 6, 1 to 7. Seven to 1, 4 to 8, 2 to 6, 1 to 7. Hold on, let me say that in my head one more time. Okay, try that. That's it! Yay! The box in Noah's hand dinged lightly before the box opened, revealing what was inside. A key? A key? This is too easy though, way too easy. You know how long I sat here? What do you mean? Noah stared at it, untrusting. Seriously, sometimes things can just be easy. Come on, this is something to celebrate about. I guess so. Fine, let's try it out. A sigh escaped Noah's lips as he rubbed the back of his neck, eyes darting away from Kane. Is something wrong? No, nothing's wrong. It doesn't matter. Don't leave me hanging like that. Thanks for being here, I guess. A look of surprise crossed Kane's face at Noah's honest words. Well, it's not like I had much choice, but I'd come with you anytime. I'd just rather never come back here, to be honest. Yeah, me too. I think this is probably the most you've spoken to me in years, you know. Sorry. Okay, so we have a key now that we can use for the bedside table. The key slipped in with a soft click before opening. Of course it opens the drawer. Maybe there's another key inside? Only one way to find out. The creaking hollow sound, the drawer opened. The inside was bare except for gloves. Really? What is it? Well, Kane scratched at his face awkwardly, his gaze facing away. Noah followed his line of sight until it landed on something he wanted to ignore. Fantastic. Wait, what's that? Looking down, Noah noticed something else. Something scratched into the wood. Let's take a closer look at that. Okay. Huh? Okay. What do you think this is supposed to mean? Well, that's a good question. Whether we can work it out right now or not, I think this is probably important. I'm gonna have to memorize this. Left, right, left, right. Right. Left, right, left, right. Okay, that's fairly simple. Helpful. So let's grab the gloves and go in here. I can't believe I'm doing this. The offer still stands if you want me to give it a go instead. No, I can at least do this much for myself. There's nothing wrong with depending on me. With a slight frown, Noah discarded any response he had for Kane and dipped his hand into the bucket. So? Slowly, as if he were scared to find out exactly what he just grabbed, he pulled the object into sight. A bottle. The glass was darkened and dirty, hiding whatever was inside of it. Kane leant as close as the cork was removed. Nope, Kane leant in, close, as the cork was removed. Noah flipped the bottle over, letting the contents fall out into the rock ground with a clack. Facing upwards from the ground was a tiny hexagon with a crescent moon design. Not what I was expecting, honestly. This better have been worth sticking my hand in that filth for. Mr. Floyd. The bucket was only used for a ceiling leak. It's just been sitting there for a while. It's like you got all worked up over nothing, hey? Nice. Okay. Hexagon to the box with buttons. Puzzle piece locked into place alongside the others waiting to be turned. Well, that's that fixed. Okay. Left, right, left, right. Ah. The 4 buttons locked into place with a click. Kane and Noah leant over it, waiting for something to happen. It's not really as satisfying as that other puzzle, is it? Maybe if it made a noise? Well, it doesn't matter. Let's just see what's inside this thing. A candle. Interesting. Noah froze in place. That voice, that same voice, it never changed. Noah, you don't have to talk to him if you don't want to. I don't have much choice if I want to get out of here. What is it? I didn't mean to. All this time, I just wanted to see you again. Well, here I am, and this means nothing because this isn't really you. You're acting sorry for yourself, that's all. Do you think you're the victim here? Do you think I have to forgive you just because you want me to? No, I'd rather you sit there and feel sorry for yourself. Don't bother talking to me unless you're going to help us leave. Okay. Candle. And we're going to maybe light it in here? The man chained to the wall shuffled in place. Metal scraped against stone, a sound so jarring and discomforting that Kane couldn't help but shift from foot to foot. As Noah turned towards the sound, a scene came to mind. Outside, the sun high in the sky, someone stood at the front of a classroom, writing something on a whiteboard. He tapped his pen against the desk as the teacher's voice became background noise. He glanced to the side. A boy with blonde hair and round glasses glanced back at him, then smiled. The scene fell away into nothingness, and in its place was his childhood teacher, huddled on the floor, completely alone. Noah turned away from the shell of a man into the bedside table. On it, bolted down, was a small lantern. He quickly dipped his candle into it, lighting the wick immediately. The flame flickered from side to side. Noah's breath caught in his throat. Freedom. Freedom. Now we have a lit candle and we are going to stick it in the door. This is it. What is what? What are you doing? This is our only choice. Look. Noah pointed towards the key, which hung from a thin rope that fell to the stone ground. Around it, some kind of dark liquid. I was imagining that you were going to heat up the candle, stick it into the thing, and then like you'd have the perfect size of the key, and you could just and then open it. Not that you were gonna explode something, but okay. You're gonna bet everything on throwing a candle towards a rope. Don't you think that looks like oil? If it catches fire and the key drops to the ground, we should be able to reach it. Alright, I trust you. Let's do this. Noah swallowed hard. Palming his shaking hand, he held tight to the lit candle, sizing up just how far he had to throw it. And there. Gently, as to not put it out before he even reached the rope, Noah tossed it towards the key. In an instant, the puddle of oil went up in flames, and the rope quickly followed suit. Moments later, the key fell to the stone floor with a clang, almost bouncing towards Noah. He reached between the bars as far as he could, to the point where his shoulder ached from being pressed into the hard metal. Finally, it was in his grasp. The key, made of dark, rusted metal, sat against his palm. He clutched it to his chest. Yes. You got it? As he stood from the ground, Kane wrapped an arm over Noah's shoulders, pulling him close and almost ruffling his hair. I never doubted you for a second. Bullshit. Hey, got off of me. Something about the scene playing out in a dimly lit, dirty prison inside a dream made Noah feel nostalgic. This happened to you a lot, huh? Like nothing had ever changed. Like he was a school kid with all the hope of the future ahead of him. His smile fell from his face as the weight of the future, of his present, suddenly weighed on him. This feeling, this nostalgia, how could he feel it? How could he dare to feel it, to feel happiness? He pulled away from Kane and brushed his clothes off. Come on, I'll unlock his chains. Kane, who was smiling alongside Noah, also paused in his excitement. He scratched the back of his head as if embarrassed for his sudden outburst. Right. That's why we're here, anyway. It's time for you to go, Mr. Floyd. Can I really leave? Noah knelt down and quickly unlocked the chains that held the man down. His wrists were bloody and bruised. Yes, it's time to leave. For reasons unknown to even himself, Noah reached out to help his old teacher up from the ground. Mr. Floyd's face was filled with emotions, none of which seemed to win over the others. His mouth opened and closed, then opened and closed once again. He had something to say. He had many things to say, but nothing escaped his lips. Noah turned his back to the man and walked back towards the locked door. The key slid effortlessly into the lock, and the door opened. At the same time, the world began to fall apart around them. The walls fell, the floor cracked, and the cell shook as if it wanted to tear itself apart from reality. Mr. Floyd looked as if he was reaching out to Noah. His mouth opened, but no words came out as he disappeared, too. Noah grabbed Kane's hand. "Run, we gotta go." "What's happening?" "The dream is falling apart. We don't have long, we need to get outside." Hand in hand, the two ran through the twisting corridors, searching for the light that would be their savior as the world rumbled around them. Booms echoed throughout the building, so loud they could feel it to their very cores. Kane's hand in Noah's felt sweaty. Noah was sure his felt the same. His legs burnt, his muscles his muscles screamed out in pain, begging for relief. When had been the last time he'd run like this? Probably after. There, the door. They sprung out the door into the world outside, just in time to watch the entire castle fall down into a heap, then get sucked out of existence. The world outside looked much the same as when they first arrived, but soon it wouldn't. Soon it too would collapse and disappear. A fleeting dream that could never truly exist. Shit. Let's go. How do we get out of here? If we go back to where we came in, there should be a way. The two turned to leave, but someone stood in their way. A man with blonde hair and deep green eyes. Two men froze. Their mouths hung open with surprise, and their eyes were so wide it wouldn't have been a surprise to either of them if they simply burst out of their heads. The man smiled softly. A sweet smile that reminded one of a sunflower in full bloom. The people that made this game in sunflowers, I swear, this is not the first time I've had to read about sunflowers with them. A sweet smile that could only belong to one person. August? He looked at Noah with sadness in his eyes. Noah had a million questions running through his mind. A million things he wanted to say. A million things he wanted to do. But his mouth wouldn't cooperate. He couldn't say a single word. How many times had he gone over a situation like this in his head? How many speeches had he prepared were he ever to see August again? Tears formed in the corner of his eyes. Kane continued to stare, deep in confusion. How? Is he in the dream? Mr. Floyd knew him well, so it wouldn't be a surprise. But he looks so whole, so real. Who are you? My name is Crow. Who are you? He waited for those words he wished for so dearly. For him to be real, for him to be August. I am nobody, just a wanderer. You two had best be going before you cease to exist along with the rest of this world. The boy named Crow smiled at them, the same gentle smile that Noah knew so well. He wanted to run back to him, ask him those million questions, but instead he felt a tug at his hand. Kane. Noah, we have to go. But when Noah looked back, he was gone. Just before the world turned in on itself, Kane and Noah escaped. Damn. The same falling feeling, the same fear deep in his stomach. Then he was back home, in a reality where he was alone. When Noah opened his eyes, he was once again in his house, sitting in front of his easel. On it, a half-completed painting. Why is it only half-completed? Green fields that twisted into something sinister, something beyond reason. He lifted his brush once again, and this time every stroke came with ease. It was as if he was spilling his very soul onto this canvas. Each and every drop of paint reflected him. The ease was something he hadn't felt in far too long. His mind was elsewhere. Bro, if Kane hadn't, we could have asked you those million questions. I could have felt you again. Even if we were to only chat for a little while, that would have been enough. Is it you? He looked just like you. His smile reminded me so much of yours. Crow. August. Please. A knock sounded from the front door. And for some reason, Noah stood from his painting and opened it. Something in the past he would have simply ignored. Perhaps his mind was too occupied for him to consider what he was doing. Perhaps when he opened that door, somewhere deep inside of him hoped to see a certain someone with a smile like spring and eyes as deep as a forest. But the person on the other side of his door was a man he'd never seen before. That man with white hair pushed past Noah into his house. Noah stood still in shock, his eyes following the man in disbelief. He kicked over a few canvases from a forgotten couch in the corner of the room and sat down, making himself at home. Only a moment later, he picked up the remote and turned on the TV, kicking his legs up into an abandoned painting. Make yourself at home, dude. What the fuck? What the hell are you doing? Get out or I'm going to call the police. Your phone service got cut off. His voice was flat and matter-of-fact. And how the hell would you know that? I saw the disconnection notice in your trash. Noah shut the door and approached the man, filled with apprehension. Who the hell just comes into someone's house, sits on their couch, and turns the TV on? What's going on? Alright, jackass, who are you? Ivan. Noah finally got a good look at this Ivan. His hair was bleached completely white, and his eyes were different colors. His clothes were strange, as if he belonged on a catwalk instead of surrounded by all this mess. Still, he had no trouble making himself at home. He leant back into the couch, completely uninterested in Noah. His eyes rested on the TV, his expression bored. What's going on? Finally, Noah noticed it. Markings that ran up his arm and neck. Markings he'd seen before, more than once on that very same TV. What do you want from me? I'm staying here tonight. I don't have anywhere else to go. Answer the damn question. You got a problem? I said I'm staying here tonight. But why? I've taken an interest in you. Anyway, I'm tired. Where's the bedroom? Without thinking, Noah pointed towards the door. Thanks. You can take the couch. Ivan stood from his place, straightened out his clothes, then went into the bedroom. Noah stood still in shock, wondering what just happened. Shaking his head, he picked up his brush again to paint. I'll deal with him later. I can't lose this inspiration. And now I'm suddenly in full screen! Whoa! So this episode ended up being a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. I kept thinking that if I played just a little bit further, we were only going to have like 5 minutes more content max. What ended up happening is we have another hour worth of footage in this episode. So I'm splitting it up. This is episode 2 that you just watched. There's going to be an episode 3 in the future. There is still more content after that. I'm so surprised. For a demo, this game is going on. There's so much content. It's so good. I'm really enjoying myself with it. And I hope that you guys are too. But this video is getting a little bit long, so I'm going to stop it here. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next part for what happens next in this story.